Hey everyone! Today we're going to talk about a fun topic that's been on my mind recently. Imagining what it would be like if the cast of Friends were Pokemon trainers. Along with their personalities, I tried to incorporate tidbits from the show. With that in mind, let's get right into my picks. Kicking everything off with Ross, as his were arguably the easiest to settle on. First up, we've got Rillaboom to represent Ross's little buddy Marcel. And bonus points, Rillaboom can play drums to accompany Ross on keyboards. Next, I went with Sock. Why? Because Unagi! I was originally torn between Sock and Throw, but when you look at their dex entries, Sock embodies the idea of a total state of awareness more, as it prefers to train alone on mountains, honing its skills, and hates to be interrupted. Whereas Throw travel in packs of 5 and enjoy challenging strong foes. From here on, it gets rather self-explanatory. Ross is a paleontologist and therefore would have many dinosaur-esque Pokemon. So I went with Rampardos, Bastiodon, no silent M here Ross, Tyrantrum, and Aurorus. Now let's move on to Miss Rachel Green. I had to start off with Hatrine, because after living your whole life as a shoe, sometimes you'd rather be a hat. Then I had to go with Persian, which we can all agree is a major step up from Mrs. Whiskerson. And Rachel is happy not to be getting scratched up all the time anymore. Don't worry, Rachel's poor sick Ponyta made a full recovery and is now a strong, beautiful Rapidash. Maybe if her Dragonair ever evolves into a Dragonite, she might decide to fly to Paris after all. Now don't be fooled by the innocent appearance of Beautifly. Like her trainer, she will attack if provoked. Lastly, we come to Altaria, who, when not helping Rachel win battles, loves to snuggle up with sweet little Emma. Now, like her brother, selecting Pokemon for Monica was a fairly easy task. She would of course have a Mr. Mime, as we know they are very helpful with household chores. Same goes for Monica's Rotom, who has many different forms to help her out, even in a blackout. Being the brilliant chef she is, Monica couldn't resist the little applin she has raised into a strong Appleton. Or her favorite ghostly friend, Poltegeist. Monica's foodie background also attracted her to Milcery and its evolution, Alchemy. But it was her competitive nature that really set her off. She's made it her personal goal to get every evolution variant of Alcremie. But now, possibly my favorite Pokemon of Monica's is a sweet little Fido. Monica warned you she wanted a dog, Chandler. Speaking of, we've reached my favorite sarcastic member of the bunch, Chandler Bing. It should come as no surprise that young Chandler, inspired by his favorite book, The Velveteen Rabbit, set out to catch his own little brown bunny friend. His buddy Velvet has now grown up into a feisty Lopunny. Now, these next few you'll notice have something in common, and that is that Chandler acquired them, well, honestly by mistake, but he loves them all just the same. When the Bings found out they'd be having a baby soon, Monica said she needed more help around the house and sent Chandler to catch a second Mr. Mime. He went happily. However, imagine the look on his face when he returned to tell Monica of his success and revealed he'd accidentally caught a Galarian Mr. Mime, more keen to dance the day away rather than clean. Regardless, now Chandler and newly evolved Mr. Rhyme love entertaining the twins. Chandler does learn from his mistakes, though. After buying Rachel a briefcase that was not on the list, Chandler looked this time and saw she was having trouble catching that Silcoon that would evolve into her future Beautifly. Unfortunately, Chandler failed to see the difference between Silcoon and Cascoon, and well, now he's got a Dustox. For this next one, I like to think the others were teasing Chandler for not really having any strong Pokemon on his team. Frustrated, he goes for a walk and encounters an incredibly powerful dragon Pokemon. He throws a ball, catches it, and when he goes to show everyone, out pops out a Ditto. Oh well, someone else to play with the babies. Then we've got a Ducklet, because as we all know, Chandler's the duck. Finally, Chandler was sitting in Central Park trying to come up with a jingle for a commercial he was working on. It wasn't coming together. And then, here comes a clever Chatot whistling a perfect tune. A bit of workshopping later, and Chandler's got a perfect jingle and a new friend. Oh, Phoebe Buffet, what can I say? You've got the most eclectic bunch of the day. Little Phoebe found an injured Caterpie in her yard and nursed it to health, and her Butterfree is still with her today. After her mom passed and she was living on the streets, Phoebe had it pretty rough until she met a Nicket that helped her find food and shelter. These days, Phoebe just likes to curl up at her feet while she plays guitar. You know, they say birds of a feather flock together, so when Jigglypuff saw people didn't appreciate Phoebe's music either, she decided to stay. Now she's a big sassy Wigglytuff. Smeargle loves making funky art with Phoebe to give to her friends. And we can't forget the Lechonk Phoebe found in her hometown of Estee Lauder. And Phoebe was so sad to see her rat babies go that one day Mike came home and surprised her with a Rattata, Bob Jr. Rounding out this fun hypothetical, it's time for Mr. Joey Tribbiani. Joey loves his bedtime penguin pal Hugsy, so of course he fell in love with Pip-Lip the moment he saw him. Now fully grown, Empoleon is willing to lend a flipper whenever Joey needs to protect his sisters or his friends. Snorlax and Joey were made for each other. They eat together and they nap together. It's pure bliss. You had to know that Joey had a Kecleon. He is a chameleon after all. Just as Joey is the chick to Chandler's duck, so is Torchic to Ducklet. The four get along quite well. When Joey saw Furfrou, he thought fondly of Pat the dog. He had to run after him, however, after accidentally startling him, but Chase was caught, and Joey takes good care of him. Sometimes Rachel will take Chase the Furfrou out for a secret haircut, and there should be no surprise at all that Joey also caught himself a darling Morpeko. Just remember... Alright, that wraps it up for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and share with a friend. And let me know in the comments down below if you agree with my picks or if you would have gone with some other ones. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.